Hello, Catherine Foley is my name, and I hope you're all doing well during these days of COVID-19. And I'm going to read today from my book Beyond the Breakwater, and today's chapter, it's 50, chapter 50, imagine, and it's called Crogall. I own a painting of a black bird, a fierce prehistoric kind of creature who stands tall in the centre of the canvas. He has the stony, watchful eye of a carrion crow that has been interrupted in the act of devouring something vital. It's a big painting, and he takes up the whole of the canvas. It's a view of him from the side. He's got the ungainly body of a big, lumbering bird of prey. Hanging on the wall over my fireplace in the Liberties, his blackness complements the sooty grate of the fireplace underneath. There's a link there that I don't quite understand, but the mirrored blackness is somehow mesmerising. I'm not sure if my bird is a crow or an eagle. It's hard to say, but I'm sure he's male because he has a look about him that hints at defiance and maleness. There's a striking immutability about him. The one pin eye that is trained on me, guarded and wary, has me in his field of vision. I'm sure he's graceful and terrifying in flight, but he's captured on the ground here. He's nervous because he was clearly in the process of eating some class of an egg. He looks as if he has possibly heard something, and holding his position, he has raised his head to scan for predators. His food is the yolk of an egg that has spilled out of the shell in one great glob of yellow and mustard. It's a painting by the artist Mick Mulcahy from West Waterford, a painter of great power. He was a young man when he painted this beast of a bird in the late 1970s. He had yet to travel to places like the Sahara, the outback of Australia, to Papua New Guinea and to Korea, where he would portray indigenous peoples and their natural environments, and an endeavour for which he was to become well known. But back then he was staying with his father in Helvig, and my aunts Sheila and Gilla were near neighbours. He presented the painting to them as a gift one day, carrying it into them under his arm, offering it to them the way he does, pleased, confident and proud of his work. They may have had a little drink to celebrate, or my Auntie Gilla may have been prompted a little round of applause. I know they were all in agreement that it was powerful. It was a creature that was somewhere between a crow, an eagle, and maybe a black gull. Together, the three of them came up with a name based on those three birds, Crogall, and they christened it that day when he stood it on a chair and they stood back to look at it. Crogall, they said, and Mick wrote that in pencil on the side of the frame. The painting hung for years in their dining room. I always loved its colour and its strangeness. Years later, when Auntie Gilla died, the painting was left to me in her will. Crogall's backdrop is a swirling whirl of colour. It circles him, rotating around him in a heady mix of geometric and circular designs in warm reds, ochres and yellow tints. There are zigzag sections and red markings, the likes of which you might see on a totem pole. The bird's beak is long and curved and red like the caked mud of an equatorial riverbed. He's got nobility and a vulnerability about him, even if he is fierce and watchful. He watches me now, Crogall. I don't think he's nervous anymore. He appears calmer to me somehow. His rich, yolky egg has remained untouched since it was painted. So Crogall is happy, excuse me, he's happy to stand and remind me of his story, of his creation in Helvig Head by Mulcahy, when seagulls were squawking and squealing outside the windows, demanding to be flung onto his canvas instead of this black interloper from another time, when savage hunger and satiation were the only laws and life was a jungle full of colour and verdant tangles. Crogall is happy to remind me of his growth as an heirloom and of his journey to my house in Dublin. As a teenager, I would stand and admire Crogall when I visited my aunts. I loved the brazenness of the bird's blue-black plumage. I loved the strangeness of it. It was a great furnace of colour vibrating in the corner of their cream-coloured dining room. And over the years, cigarette smoke filled that room as they talked and reminisced, and the walls faded slowly to a coffee-coloured beige. Today, Crogall's colours never faded. Today, he is as steady and black and vibrant as ever, standing guard. And there he is. And I want to thank all the people who are watching every day. I especially want to thank my friends and my cousins Marie in Chester, and Siobhan and Deirdre in Dublin, Quentin and Francis in New York, so many people, Sister John Bosco in Rome, Patricia in Canada. I won't go on, so many people locally and in County Waterford generally, and cousins in Kilkenny. And it means so much to RoseAnn here who's filming me, and we'll keep going until the end. There are 75 chapters in all, but we'll keep going just to give you a bit of relief, and thank you again. We really appreciate your comments on the live feed especially. Bye for now. Thank you.